Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for taking the time out. So I'm Ganesh Pantula. I'm a senior machine learning engineer at Impetus Technologies, and I focus mainly on generative AI and agentic AI use cases within enterprises. So what's on the agenda today? So today we're going to talk about a transformation that's happening right now in AI, especially in big enterprises. So financial firms, banking, insurance, it can belong to any of these big enterprises. So what they're doing is they have come to a point where they're realizing that traditional AI isn't enough anymore. So what they need is an AI that is not just intelligent, but also trustworthy and more like a partner. So here's what we're going to go through today. First, we'll set the context. We'll give an example of some of the unique challenges that a financial firm faces. And then we'll look at how we applied RAG to solve this problem. So the problem is data, compliance, regulations, everything which a large firm deals with. And then we'll we'll take it a step further. We'll go into Agentic AI. We'll see how it just doesn't answer questions, but also does a few more things. So yeah, and then finally we'll do the takeaways, which is I'm going to introduce a real example which we did with one of the customers. What are the learnings which we have learned, and what are the takeaways from this? So yeah, so it's going to be an interesting session. Let's see how we can use AI not just as a tool, but something which we can use as an intelligent partner. I'm going to try to present all the fun stuff. I'll graze over through the other stuff, and then we'll leave some questions. We'll leave some time for the questions in the end. All right, so before I dive into financial services specifically, let me talk about what we do at Impetus. So what we do is we believe in powering the intelligent enterprise. And now what does that mean? So it means we help organizations move from a data rich and insight poor to becoming AI driven and future ready. So how do we do that? We have all the pillars that are needed to build a GenAI or an Agentic AI platform. So we modernize the data by using the right AI fuel. We use operationalization. We make that better at scale. So that is done by implementing the right governance and guardrails. And then we deliver measurable business impact. So what that means is faster compliance checks, quicker decision making, and better customer experience in the end. And here's the thing. So this isn't just theory. We have built this in several big firms. And we're already doing this today with GenAI and Agentic AI. So we talk about intelligent systems, and we're going to show you how we went beyond just proof of concepts or just pilots. So we enable this in enterprises' day-to-day operations. All right. So setting the context here. So let's take a real-world example. Let's imagine a financial services firm. So this financial firm is highly regulated. It's dealing with complex processes, mountains of data every day. And for an employee who's working within this organization, a simple task like finding the right policy document or a compliance rule or just checking client records, it can be surprisingly painful. So now that is because information in big firms, the data is always in silos, and then information is scattered across different systems. So search is clunky, and by the time the answer actually is received or we get, the time has passed. So it isn't just about inconvenience. In a regulated industry, these delays and inefficiencies, they translate into risk, and at the end of the day, just bring down the productivity. So what's the solution for this? We need a trusted AI assistant, one that runs in a centralized way with all the data in one platform. It retrieves the right information and summarizes complex documentation tasks into something usable that can be quickly accessible by the employees and gives out the right answer. And this is an urgent need right now because the pressure is only rising. Regulators are demanding real-time visibility, and the bar is the bar in the fintech industry especially is just going up, because the like the small companies, the startups, they're pretty quick in doing these kind of documentations and huge workflows. So we need to bring a workflow or a system which can bring out the right answers quickly, and this can be done in a big enterprise. So for that, I'm going to take a real world example. This is something we did in a big financial firm, and we'll look at it, like where they started and where they are right now. So now let's look at how we solved this in real life. We actually built and deployed a RAG-based foundation. So RAG stands for retrieval-augmented generation. And now in very basic terms, RAG is like a chat GPT, but it's for your own enterprise. So instead of relying on whatever data is out there on the internet, RAG connects the AI directly into your firm's knowledge base. And then your policies, compliance, client records, internal documentation, you get the answers from it quickly. So we've built this for one of the biggest financial firms, and their biggest challenge again was the fragmented data, which we discussed about before. So they have data in multiple systems, and employees are like wasting hours of time looking at the right documentation. So, but with RAG, all that knowledge is unified into a single intelligent layer. Now, let me just quickly walk you through this RAG diagram. Now, this is something which you can take and implement straight away within your enterprise. And with the right tools, Impetus can do it within your enterprise as well. So let's go through the flow that we built. So a user asks a query. It's like there's a chat GPT interface. So we have a chat interface, and the user query goes into the orchestrator. So the orchestrator calls the retriever, and with the retriever, we have the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is all the data. It is compliant. It is regulated. It has all the PII data, personal information masked. So it's like a central repository. Now what it does is it takes the question and then retrieves all the documents. So it can be a quick FAQ kind of a question, or it can be like a step-by-step guide. How do I get onboarded into a platform? So all of that information is passed into the LLM. Now these LLMs, we have a bunch of LLMs that we work with. Like Zach mentioned in the previous session, LLMs can have different costs. So we got to be flexible a little bit over there. So the LLM takes in all the documentation, all the information, and creates an answer which with context to the user query. This passes through the guardrails. So guardrails is just like a doorman to a building. He's not gonna let everything pass, but he's gonna check everything and pass only the right stuff. And then the user gets the final response. Now this is a basic RAG framework, but what we solved in this big financial firm where we implemented this, we solved the fragmented data problem. You now have one central knowledge repository. Instead of so slow manual process, you get instant contextual answers. And instead of client risks, every response is backed by approved role-based answers. So when I say role-based, you'll see it in the next slide with Agentic AI. Right. So when I say role-based, it means I'm a developer, and then there can be a director or a sales manager. So the answer needs to be related to what role I have. Now this is possible with role-based intelligence. Now before I get into the specifics or the architecture diagram of Agentic AI, I just want to give a comparison between how it was before RAG and Agentic AI within a big financial firm, and then how it is after. So let me give you a quick example. Now imagine there is a relationship manager, and he's preparing for a client review meeting. Now what does he do? He spends hours of time, hours pulling out the right policy documents. Now this can be in a SharePoint location or any storage. He's going to check out all the compliance rules. For that, he has to go through some kind of an internal portal wherein all the documentation is there. He's going to go through client data, what are the different systems, what does the client do, just in general client specific data. And then to prepare all of this, it's a very manual and repetitive kind of a task. And also it's error prone. We don't know, nobody's tracking what the regulations, has it been updated, has the documentation, is it up to date, we don't know. But with RAG, the same task can be done with an assistant, like an Agentic AI assistant. What it does is it will retrieve the latest compliance and client data instantly. So, but also it can remember based on the long-term and the short-term memory which it has in Agentic AI. It can remember the last interaction which the manager had with the client. It will highlight all the things that has changed. It will generate a compliance-ready checklist. Okay, now this is Agentic AI using it as a tool. It will generate a checklist. It will create a dashboard based on the specifications and the metrics that the client works with. And then this can all be done within 2 to 3 hours. No, anything which was taking 2 to 3 hours, it can be done in 5 minutes. So it's a safe way and it's more consistent every time. Now let's focus on the diagram that we made from, we evolved it from a RAG-based chatbot to an Agentic AI. So if you can see the boxes in the blue, those are the existing RAG system. And how we added Agentic AI was that based on the client's requirements, which is it needed feedback loop. Now we need feedback loop for automatic corrections. So what it means is, as we have an extra panel which takes in plus like a thumbs up or the thumbs down, just like in ChatGPT. So with that, the bot auto corrects. It chooses the right chunks which the user wants. The memory, short-term and long-term memory, that helps with customer or client details, that the last interaction. So that can remember that. Role-based specific information, that is, a developer will need a different answer, whereas a relationship manager or a salesperson would need a different answer for the same question. So role-specific information. So it takes in all these information, it takes in the user query, and then once it looks up in the knowledge base and each step is passed through the guardrails, and in the end, it can give you an answer, which is like a final response, a query response, or it can call in tools. It can create reports, it can create dashboards and APIs. So now this became like a personal assistant, and this can be used overall by everyone in the organization. Based on the roles, they'll get a permission of what kind of rules or tools they can use, what are the answers they're going to get. It's specific to the role. So now this is like a leap forward, right? From static answers to adaptive, proactive intelligence. Wow, my light turned off. Now RAG gives the foundation of trusted answers. Agentic AI builds on delivering real business outcomes. Now these measures, we can measure the productivity gains. We can see that how safe it is, and over time this also gets better. Right. So what are the key takeaways? Let's bring it all together. So first, in a large enterprise, AI just can't be a side experiment. It can be like a separate model or an algorithm. It has to sit at the center, acting as a true partner across the whole organization. Second, the foundation for doing this right is always RAG. It grounds AI in trusted enterprise knowledge and ensures answers are contextual, accurate, and compliant. And third thing is, Agentic AI takes it a step further. It adds memory, personalization, and it gives you the ability to move from just answers to also getting things done, real business actions. And finally, although we've been talking about banking, financial firm, this system is ideal for any enterprise dealing with compliance-heavy, data-intensive operations. Now that can be banking, financial firms, or it can be healthcare, insurance, or even government. So anywhere where speed, safety, and scale are critical, this approach delivers. So we at Impetus, so partnering with Impetus means fast tracking this whole GenAI journey with confidence. So we have all the pillars which are necessary to build this from the ground up. So you can be at whichever stage you are. You can be just starting. You probably have some kind of an AI platform. Data is already mature in a way that it can be used, or you just want you have your own assistant and you want to put it into production. We'll help you do that. So we have innovation labs called GenAI Innovation Labs. Now we help enterprises move from idea to impact, not in months, within weeks. So whether you're just exploring GenAI or looking for to scale it enterprise wide, we'll give you the tools. Now, I'll take a pause here and I'll answer any questions. I know that I've covered a lot of technical and non-technical stuff. That's why I wanted to leave some time out for questions.
If you want to take a look at the Q&A, how can you make sure this is from a juice, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. How do you make sure that PII data is not getting ingested for inappropriate applications? How do you make sure that you set up the appropriate data guardrails?
Right. That's a good question. So this is one of the common challenges which we face in insurance and financial firms. That is, PII data is very critical. It can't pass through the creeks. So that is the reason we have guardrails at every step of the process. So even with Agentic AI, within the workflow, we pass it through guardrails, and we make sure that PII data and it is compliant. So every step of the way is compliant. I can also see a question. Thanks for the session. It was really insightful. I work on the human rights at the UN. Wow. And my question is, with AI becoming so powerful, especially in sectors like finance, how do you think organizations can use it responsibly while still protecting people's privacy? Okay, I didn't expect that question. Um, so I'll answer it in two parts. First is the organizations itself. They can make sure that data leaks, such as PII data or compliance or regulations, is not broken down. It doesn't pass through the cracks. And me personally, as a whole, I think AI there should be an external agency like we have compliance, which is regulating AI. So in a way, this needs to be compliant, and it needs to be open of what the capabilities of AI is right now.